Welcome back to Indian Trace. I am doing a honorary video for a couple friends of mine. It added up, a couple comments added up, and we were chatting about what kind of ingenuity and what kind of creativity it takes to make small quartz ancient Indian hunting points. Now, the ones in the middle that are triangle are the most historical. That is, they're the newest. And they're not young at all. Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years old. The ones in the circle in the middle, the triangle, of course, from the historic period Indians, probably 1100, 1200 AD, maybe 1300. Maybe the ones that are serrated here, a bit older. But the conversation was, we were blown away, phenomenal, blown away, in wondering how on earth they could pull. This is not focusing how they could pull quartz to nap it. And the discussion's been up there. I mean, we're talking about some fantastic work. Now, you're seeing a lot of points, but it does not cover. This is the really cool thing about this video. This does not cover a large area. You're looking at a ton of points. It's from one bin that is 1 inch by 2.5 inches by 1 inch deep. One lure compartment. I mean, can you think about that? Look at these points. One lure compartment. They are tiny. I did a video on tiny arrowheads before, but this discussion will cover what kind of ingenuity, what kind of creativity, of course, with the different styles, but what kind of ingenuity it had to take to make such small pieces and to nap them. That's the real point, to actually make them. So we're going to get up close and personal with some of these. I mean, just take a look at some of these angles. Now, before I do, a real shout out to Mike on behalf of some of the discussions we had about napping some of this quartz, and someone out there who can actually nap quartz, but is napping much bigger pieces. Rob of Georgia Rob and Terry. And I'll put it up again. I mean, some of the pieces he's napped out of quartz. And even Ken, some of you guys know these names I'm talking about. Even Ken up in New York, who might be our master napper. Now, I'm certainly not leaving out Flint's Ball. And there's tons of guys out there. You guys can nap well. And if you can, you know how flat out hard. And Mike, that includes you, how hard this material you're looking at is. So you know what it takes to nap what you're looking at. Now to give you the real true size of this, because the camera doesn't do it. Here it is. They're gone if I put my hand under it. Whereas 1 finger length, you could have a whole Guilford out of 1 finger length. And it's just boom. We cover up all of those. Out of 1 fingernail, there's a lot of these that are about the size of 1 fingernail. See that? A lot of them are. And they disappear right underneath 1 fingernail. Some are smaller than a fingernail. Completely smaller. So from Indian Trace to you, this is going to be a lot of fun. You're going to get a close-up personal look of some tiny pieces of workmanship, which if you follow along the train of thought with me, are astounding. No modern tools, no little copper billets, no nothing that they could pull the quartz and nap it. Maybe other quartz, but I really don't think it's going to work out to nap quartz with quartz. Do definitely think, as Christian thinks, maybe you know some of these names, that you could use and have you could use deer antler or what have you. So all the inside information you can give me out there, that includes Ken or Rob or whatever, because it's amazing. People would be amazed to know how hard this was to do in primitive times. You're looking at most of it. Let's just be on average. You're looking at 4,000 years old. 4,000 years ago. You're looking at 2000 BC or older for some of this stuff when these styles. So instead of overview right now, I'm going to show you something I found today. Here's the overview of a fantastic view of it. Look at this. Look at this layout. I'm staggered. I'll put it in a frame someday. Don't mind if you guys love frames. Some of you are absolutely frame crazy. Whether it's Richard or Flint's Ball, I love it. It inspires me. And I'm probably throwing around ideas with frames just looking at this. Amazing though. Amazing to me. Now check this out. I did find this today. This is big. Big piece of quartz. Big, big, big when I think about it. How big? Look at this. Big. When you're talking about the metric weight, the weight of this alone right here in my hands. Nice point right here. Well, all of these in the circle maybe weigh the same amount. All of those in the circle weigh the same amount. They're so tiny and minuscule. This big one represents maybe 3, 4 of these points that are this size. It's crazy, isn't it? I mean, just look at this. But translucent as can be. Fun stuff just to find today when I was out there. I found some others, but this was probably the point of the day, and I wanted to show you this out at Hidden Alley. It's got some discoloration on the base, which is often the case. I think the mineral composure could have changed that as they hafted it, and then the hafting and the sinew simply over hundreds of years rotted slowly with chemicals and the change of chemical composure to it. Don't know, just thoughts. It's a great looking piece though, isn't it? Why not? Hard as can be, this material. So that's why I took out the small ones. Gotta love it though. So I figured I'd show you what I was able to find for the point of the day out there today. Now, let's go right around this. And we already got the middle, so I want to just talk about those a little bit more. I was just talking to my oldest son, and he's the one who really likes to talk about political interest points. We're going to get real close to these and go around, and then we'll just move on out. And to me, it was so funny. I did have somebody say something here on Indian Trace. It was a political interest comment, and I love it. But I want to make some clear sense of it all as we look at these small ones. I'm trying to get close without messing up my focus. I mean, this is small stuff. Let me just give you an idea of how truly small it is. Some of you know. There's my fingernail. It's smaller than my fingernail. These small ones. So you can imagine what it took to make them. Controlling the product at such a small size. Unbelievable. I mean, look at my thumbnail. Huge, right? Huge. And it easily fits inside a thumbnail. With serrations. What kind of tools, right? What kind of little something could pull serrations? Is it an antler? An antler billet or something like that? I'm not sure. Unbelievable stuff. Triangles. The comment was that, with the way the news is hammering Trump lately. Well, since when? Since 2 months before the election? Well, since he was elected, hammering it on some pretend idea that he is not doing well when his cabinet is impeccable, incredible minds, incredible success stories, incredible leadership, proven. Nice point, right? As we go right around this circle, we got a couple circles to go, and we'll show this. And so the comment was, we really need, as Republicans and conservatives, to do the best we can in 4 years, because that might be all we get based on what the news is saying. I sort of laughed to myself, because the real reality of it all is, and I know the fellow who made that comment is going to listen to this, and I wrote him back, but the real reality for everybody out there who happens to think that, it's easy to think it if you're listening to modern news, if you dare listen to it. I think it's disgusting. It's worth vomiting. The lies, which is actually belittling to all of us. It's belittling to people, I think, who really don't know, or people who have recently sort of become Americans or what have you. It's belittling because they trust the news, and they're hurting this whole country by lying on purpose based on an agenda they have. And we're going right around checking out some really small stuff that's just incredible. And so the point was that, they're doing such a hammer job on Trump right now that he might not even get a second chance. Oh, he will. And like I knew before November 8th that he would win in a landslide. I had a buddy who said to me, and who's a conservative, who's a fellow I know who just a close family friend, I'll put it that, who loves to shoot, and we talk about firearms and other top secret stuff. I can't say anything more. But he says to me, I'm really worried. I don't think Trump's going to win. I said, you're kidding, right? I said, I have inside information and I've looked at things sociologically. He's going to win in a landslide, which he did. Both popular and electoral. People say, no, see, you're full of it. Well, they listen to too much media. Of course he won the popular. You're talking about over 3-4 million illegal aliens were invited, encouraged to vote in states such as California and some other states. We're talking about states that were purposely messed around with, like Georgia, by the Department of Homeland Security. This is not questionable anymore. The data is out there. The evidence is there. So all in all, I said, we might not get any more time to do good things. Trump might not get that. Look at this triangle. It's a little bit of bigger triangle. I said, if the news was that powerful, which they're not, they're pitiful. They're in a spoiled pity party right now, and they are in their death throw. If they had any influence at all, well, they sure tried to squeeze it in 1, 2 months, 3 months before the election, and it didn't do them any good. The swell of patriotism, 61 million plus, did make their vote, make their choice. And now we do expect our president to carry out our will, which he's doing. So it's offensive to us when people are against Trump, not because of anything other than the fact that we are trusting him to carry out our will. Now, even the military are making it. Look at this piece. I'm going to a place that this came from, hopefully tomorrow. Very small piece. Here you go. Just an inch maybe. And as we go around the outside, the bottom line that I shared with him was, listen, I don't have any doubts at all. You double down on stupid. And I told my oldest son, I said, listen, the news media were running up against a brick wall and it wasn't falling down 2 months before the election. And then indeed, the brick wall didn't fall down. So after the election, they decided they would just run faster at that brick wall, hoping that they could bring it down, which is nationalism, which is people who believe in patriotism in this nation. As one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. There's tons of people who believe that, who believe for a president who will support that vision of success for the nation. And I even told a friend, a young man at church who decided he's going to enlist in the United States Army. I was so happy to hear that. Look at this piece. These are small pieces. I'm trying to get up close. It's tough. Very small pieces. And I said, you know what? You should be proud and happy as can be that you're serving under incredible leadership. General Mattis. The way people who've been in the military feel about our Secretary of Defense, General Mattis, is unbelievable. It'll make you cry. They love General Mattis so much for his intelligence and for his leadership. My goodness. If that selection alone by Trump doesn't earn him points, it's crazy. And so I said to my young man at church, I said, you know what? I'm so proud of you. So happy that you're going to be in the United States Army. You should be happy and secure in our commander-in-chief that he cares, that he's interested in your welfare, and he's interested in the strength of the United States of America. Look at those 2 little points at the top. Small crystal. I can't even get through this whole group. Every single one of these points you're looking at came from one lure bin. Unbelievable, right? Craziness. Look at these things. If I don't hold this still, it won't focus because they are so small. Just great stuff to look at. So all in all, bottom line, I sort of laughed, and I sort of do because I know what good does, what righteousness does. What the people in the nation did on November 8th was just the beginning. Just the beginning of what our desire is for this nation was clearly put on illustration, and the providence of God saw it through that night. It was providential. And as I close, looking at different setups here, just great stuff. Look at this bifurcated point. small, teeny quartz. Unbelievable how they could even make this stuff. And this camera won't do it justice. If you just look at that, you have no idea how big they are. And I know it's true. But I mean, one finger completely wipes it all out. They are tiny. One hand completely wipes out the whole group. Boom, I can cover the whole group. Get it all in my hand. I can hold all these points in my hand. Easy. And so, bottom line is, and I'm really happy about it, things are going good. There's a battle going on between good and evil, as always, especially concerning our president. It's sad because people who are supposed to be patriotic, are supposed to support our nation, are not doing it. They're doing things to destroy our freedom, our respect for the Constitution of the United States and for the Bill of Rights for all men, for all races, for all religion. And don't doubt it, but fight and join a good fight to promote things, whether it's just to share a video such as this, where somebody could hear it in a different way. So all in all, I think I've shown you a really good perspective here of really small points. And just to be able to make these points, I mean, must have been crazy. But they knew what the world they were doing. And I told this individual who made the comment, I said, you know what? These were truly masters. I mean, we're not just using the word. They were definitely, when it came to making things, just resilient, awesome masters of the material, of the environment, the other things they needed to live. Heat. Heat. I mean, heat. Think about heat alone. Shelter. And so I'm honored for the North American Indian to be a part of my life in these artifacts and in sharing them with you. What a great view right there. And I think that's long enough for now. So from Indian Trace to you, appreciate you tuning in. And that right there, well, that's Indian Trace. As always, I hope you find out there. Be well.